What if, in the darkest days of Nazi Germany, heaven broke through with a warning the world still hasn't fully understood? In a quiet village called Heede, 4 children claimed the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to them, radiant, crowned, holding the Christ child. But her message was not only beauty, it was urgent, it was sobering, and it was a call to prepare. This is the story of the apparitions of Heede, heaven's warning in a time of darkness. The village of Heede lies quietly along the River Ems in northern Germany, near the Dutch border. But in 1937, under the shadow of Adolf Hitler's regime, this peaceful place would become the site of something extraordinary. On November the 1st, the feast of All Saints, 11-year-old Greta left the parish church of St. Petrus in Katyn during prayers for the dead. As she walked through the old cemetery with a sister, something stopped her. There, between 2 trees, hovering above the ground, stood a radiant figure, a woman of indescribable beauty, crowned, holding a child who also wore a crown. Light surrounded them, and yet there was a deep seriousness in her presence. Terrified and amazed, the girls ran back to the church. They told others what they had seen, the Blessed Virgin Mary with the child Jesus. At first, the reaction was predictable: laughter, doubt, and dismissal. Nobody wanted to believe, but then something changed. The 4 girls, Greta, Maria, Annie, and Suzanne, were no longer the same. Their once carefree nature was replaced with deep prayer, silence, and a longing for heaven, and people began to take notice. The following day, November the 2nd, Our Lady appeared again, but this time without the child. Her hands were clasped in prayer. Then, on November the 5th, she returned in full splendor, clothed in white, standing upon a cloud, crowned with 8 stars, holding the divine child who carried a golden orb topped with a cross, a symbol of Christ's authority over the world. And she began to speak. The world will have to drink the dregs of the chalice of divine wrath for their innumerable sins through which they wounded the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Pray, pray much, especially for the conversion of sinners. By November the 7th, thousands gathered. Up to 5,000 people surrounded the children. Even priests witnessed the events. The following day, more than 7,000 came, but the authorities intervened. Under the Nazi regime, such gatherings were forbidden. Priests were blocked from attending. Pilgrimages were suppressed. Fear spread through the region, and yet Our Lady continued to come. In total, she would appear around 100 times. In one powerful moment, on April the 5th, 1939, she revealed that she wishes to be known as Queen of the Universe and Queen of the poor souls in Purgatory. She urged devotion to the Litany of Loreto and called for constant prayer, especially the Rosary. She warned of future catastrophes, of a coming minor judgment, which as we know it, the illumination of conscience, and of a world approaching divine chastisement. Despite her beauty, she was often solemn, even sorrowful, sometimes in tears, but perhaps most striking was what happened next. The Gestapo arrested the children. They were taken to an asylum, interrogated, and forbidden to return. The goal was clear: silence them. But after a month, they were released and they returned. Our Lady continued appearing, sometimes in secret locations beyond the reach of political power. In 1940, she entrusted the children with a secret intended for the Pope. This message was sealed and delivered to Pope Pius XII. Then, on November the 3rd, 1940, the apparitions came to an end. Her final words were simple but eternal. Be good and faithful to the will of God. Pray often, especially the Rosary. Now farewell, my children, until we meet in heaven. After the apparitions had ended, Greta continued to receive heavenly guidance. In the years that followed, beginning in 1945, not only did she hear the voice of Our Lady, But our Lord himself also began to speak to her heart, and one particular moment stood out. A school dance was being planned for October the 21st, 1945. At first, it seemed like an ordinary event, but through Greta, Jesus made it known that this gathering could become a danger to souls, as it was moving away from what was good and pure. With humility and courage, Greta went to the parents and those responsible. She gently but firmly shared the warning she had received that if the dance continued in this way, those involved would one day have to answer before God for their choices. Because of this message, the dance was cancelled. Through this and other signs, including miraculous healings, hearts slowly began to change. Even priests and clergy who once doubted began to believe that something truly from heaven had touched the village of Heede. Men do not listen to my most holy mother when she appeared to them at Fatima and admonished them to do penance. Now I, myself, am coming at the last hour to warn and admonish mankind. The times are very serious. Men should at last do penance, turn away from their sins and pray. Pray much in order that the wrath of God may be mitigated. Particularly the Holy Rosary should be prayed very often. The Rosary is very powerful with God. Worldly pleasures and amusements should be restricted. Men do not listen to my voice. They harden their hearts. They resist my grace. They do not wish to have anything to do with my mercy, my love, my merits. Mankind is worse than before the deluge. Mankind is suffering in sin. Hatred and greed rule their hearts. This is the work of the devil. Through the wounds that bled, mercy will again gain victory over justice. This generation deserves to be annihilated, but I desire to show myself as merciful. Tremendous things are in preparation. It will be terrible as never before since the foundation of the world. All those who in these grave times have suffered so much are martyrs and form the seed for the renovation of the church. They were privileged to participate in my captivity, in my scourging, in my crown of thorns, and my way of the cross. With a few faithful, I will build up my kingdom. As a flash of lightning, this kingdom will come, much faster than mankind will realize. I will give them a special light. For some, this light will be a blessing. For others, darkness. The light will come like the star that showed the way to the wise man. Mankind will experience my love and my power. My beloved, the hour comes closer. Pray without ceasing. Those who are not in the state of grace, it will be frightful for them. As the years passed, the church began to carefully reflect on all that had taken place in Heede. On March 7, 1946, Bishop Burning gave his approval for a statue of Mary to be created under the title of Queen of the Universe. Time went on, and after many years of prayer, study, and careful investigation, the church reached a deeper understanding of these events. On June 3, 1959, the Bishop of Osnabrück shared his conclusion that the events in Heede showed clear signs of being serious and genuine. He reassured the faithful that nothing in these apparitions went against the teachings of the Catholic faith.